No, something went wrong. Okay guys, I wanna get things right, but it is like I'm gonna have to make this a subscript for now. Okay, 2 to the power of 1. Let me see this. I just want to make sure that I am using something different, and I think it's giving me a lot of problems, but no problems. Okay, 2 to the power of 1. Okay, how much would this give me? 2 to the power of 1, how much would it give me? That is the problem. So 2 to the power of 1 would give me exactly 2. So that is what we are looking for. Okay, we want 2 subnets, not 21 but 2. We want 2 subnets. Alright, so 2 to the power of 1 is equals to 2, so it means we are going to borrow this bit, and if we borrow this bit, it turns to 1. Okay, so that means that bit will now be reflecting on your subnet mask. It will now be reflecting on your CIDR. This is what we call CIDR now, because now our classful subnet mask will now change from whatever value that they are, their default format, to something different. So that is exactly what we have here. So this is 1 bit that is borrowed. Then now, unfortunately, we have only 7 bits that are part of the host person, despite the fact here in this same octet, in this same 4th octet, we now borrow a bit. So we have, therefore this 4th octet is divided into 2. In this same 4 octet, there is a network person and there is a host person in the 4th octet. So you can see that this part is part of the network, this is part of the network, this is part of the network, and even this, a part of it, is part of the network. There's 0 here. That is it, because 1 bit of it is converted to the network. It's been transferred to the network side. So therefore, that is how you're going to get it. So that is one thing. Now the next thing is, how do we get the number of hosts per subnet? So the formula for that one also, let me just bring that down so you can just deal with our formulas. The formula to get the number of hosts, because we said to get the number of subnets is 2 to the power of bits borrowed, and to get the number of subnets, number of hosts per subnet, we will say 2 to the power of remaining bits. So the bits that are remaining here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 2 to the power of 7 is what we are looking for. And 2 to the power of 7, it gives you 128. So exactly this is what you have. But whenever you get the number of hosts, what do? You subtract 2 from it. And if you subtract 2 from this, you have equals to what? You have 126. So that is the number of hosts per subnet. This is the valid host range. That is your valid host range. So the number of bits that are borrowed is 1, and that reflect to the network. So anytime you borrow a bit, change the value from 0 to 1, because that means that bit is now part of the network. So those in zeros here means they are part of the host person and they can still be borrowed. Okay, so that is one thing. Alright guys, so this is what we do, and that is the formula. So when we are done from here, we're gonna have to now learn how to do the major subnetting itself. Okay guys, so that's a major thing. Now that is our IP address. Let me start from here. Now our IP address is 192.168. Now network address, let me just put it as network first. Our network address is 192.168.0.0 CIDR 25. Now the CIDR is no longer going to be 24, because the default CIDR is 24, and then we borrowed 1 bit and we added to the network. So therefore that 1 bit you added to this 4. So it means we're gonna add 1 to 4 here. So our default CIDR now changes from 24 to 25 because we borrowed 1 bit. So anytime that we borrowed bits, we have to remember our classful CIDR, and then we add the number of bits that we have borrowed to the classful CIDR to give us the CIDR for the network that we have apparently. So anytime that you do that, it will help you get your CIDR easily. Now, how do we know our broadcast address? Our broadcast address is always, we add the sum of the bits in the host portion. Okay, so the sum of the bits in the host portion, we have to add them together, and then we add that to whatever. We have to sum this up. The number of bits that are in the host portion now is 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. 128 is no longer part of the host bits because the bit of 128 is been borrowed and transferred to the network. So therefore this 128 is part of the network now. Now the number of bits values that are part of the host portion is 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. So we're gonna add this together. So if we add if we add 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1, our value, the sum there is 127. So we have to put that 127 is what we have. 64 plus 32 plus 16 plus 8, 4, 2, 1 gives you 127. So now to get the broadcast address is add the sum of the remaining bits. You have to remember this. Add the sum of the remaining bits to whatever value that is in the same octet. Okay, whatever value that is in the same octet of the network address. Now this is the last octet that we are talking about here. Now the sum of the remaining bits here, that is 127 right here, should be added to this 0 for that same octet to be able to give you the broadcast. So it's 127 plus 0. So that is equals to obviously 127. So our broadcast address would be 192.168.0.127. That is your broadcast address. And to get the first valid IP address, which we abbreviate as S, it's you add 1 to whatever value. That is a simple thing that you were doing before. .192.168.0.127. So for the first valid address, you add 1 to the 0 right here, then you have 0.1. So for the last valid IP address, sorry about that, we're gonna have to subtract 1 instead from 127 right here. So it will be 192.168.0.126. So the valid host range, if you look at it right from here, that is exactly what we're looking for. You can see that 126. So you can even use this valid host range to do your subnetting. I'll show you guys how to do that one in our subsequent videos. I'll show you guys the 3 different ways that you can do to subnet. Okay guys, so I hope you guys understand that one and how we get. So now, what do you think is going to be our subnet mask? That is one question. What would be your subnet mask? Now your subnet mask is the number of bits that are part of the network person. So how many bits are part of the network person? Now, because we said CIDR 25, so we need to have 25 ones. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. That is 24. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, so this is exactly how your this CIDR 27 is like in binary, or CIDR 25, sorry. The 25 looks like this in binary, so therefore that is exactly what you have. So if you convert this into decimal, you have 255. If you convert this into decimal, you have 255. If you convert this into binary decimal, you have 255. And this 1 bit here, if you convert it to decimal, you can remember the value of this one is how much? 128. So that is 128. So your subnet max now would not be classful subnet, but it will be 255.255.255.128, because this value here, this bit that is borrowed,